So, the time has come for me to finally clean the girlfriend's car. We did a little detail on the inside in the last video there, but now we're moving on to the outside. Picked up some products in terms of buying stuff at the store because I didn't want to wait online. I like Meguiar's, always go with their stuff. Been using it for a while now. Works great, so all of their ultimate products. And I've got all of my nice car cleaning towels, drying towels. We're gonna use this big guy today. Picked up a bunch of new polishing pads. And on top of that, I also have the Meguiar's, I think it's a Meguiar's one, right? Yeah, the smaller polishing thing with those pads. And we'll be using Meguiar's car wash soap, obviously. So, we'll go wash it all down. I'm trying to show you how the paint looks right now. Kind of a little before and after. We're gonna clean the engine bay, and we're gonna try and get rid of a few swirl marks and scratches that are on the passenger side. And I don't know, we'll see what this can do, and with these new pads, if they're actually good at cutting through, because I have those small red pads that go with that small Meguiar's cleaner, and they do okay, but they don't. Sometimes I wish they would cut through a little bit more. So that's kind of the idea with I got a good wool heavy cutting pad, and see how it can do. Alright, so to start off the wash, we just spray it down with soap that's kind of preloaded into the gun there, and spraying it down just to make sure there's no surface contaminants on there that we could scratch into the paint before we go and use our cloth here, and then just wipe everything down with the cloth. I try and go top to bottom. I'll do the lower side, the wheels, the engine last after wiping down the main panels, and then we spray off all of the soap and get ready to dry the car. You always want to dry it by hand and not let it dry in the sun, and usually try and wash your car out of direct sunlight, because if it dries like that, you'll get spots on it. It'll basically be like you didn't even wash it, and you'll have to start all over. So here we go. Wipe it all down. And then we spray the wheels with our Armor All wheel cleaner. Spray it once before you clean it, and it gets all the dirt off. Spray it once afterwards, and it kind of puts a hydrophobic coating on it, makes it nice and shiny, clean. Now I'm just showing you the paint here. This is one of the spots that was kind of bad cut into. We're gonna try and clean that up as much as we can, and that little line there on that rear fender. But overall, the paint on this car was in really good shape, so it didn't take too much to get it looking good again. And just trying to get rid of any kind of swirl marks we can see and any contaminants in the paint. So as you can see, the paint is in pretty decent shape to start, so it's not going to take too much for us to clean it up. But starting on clay barring the car now, just a piece of clay and some lubricant that gets rid of all the sap and any type of sticky, like any contaminant that could be on the surface of your paint. If you run your finger on your paint after washing the car and it's not smooth, then that means there's contaminants on it, and you need something like a clay bar to pick it up before you do any type of correction, or else you're going to scratch the paint and just make it worse than it was before. So there we go, it's been clay barred. Start with the buffer on the big panels and our heavy pad with our cutting compound, just to see if I could get rid of those big scratches we had there. That's what really requires a heavy cutting compound. But overall, the paint wasn't oxidized or anything. Probably could have started with a polish on some sides, but I made sure we didn't go too heavy, so I'm not too worried about like damaging clear coat on this car. It's all very good shape, and just trying to make it as shiny as possible. So start with the compound, we buff it on, wipe it off with a dry cloth, and then from there we do the same thing with polish, and then after that we can apply the wax. And after applying wax, we let that sit for at least an hour usually. The longer it sits, kind of the longer it'll last, and usually makes it easier to remove when you're buffing the wax off. So there we've moved on to our smaller detailing machine. Makes it easy to get into those tight spots and smaller areas. Bam, look at that. Super noticeable change even just on the wing there. Really shiny afterwards. And now that we've finished correcting and wiping off the product, this is kind of how it looks afterwards. Nice, shiny, deep gloss. And the paint is also now protected for at least a year. Should last, bam, like a mirror. That's how it should look. If you run water on it, it's going to bead right off. Just applied a little tire shine, applied some shine to the engine bay as well, and all the dark plastic materials. That's what the McGuire's Plastic Restore works really well on. And overall, I think the shine kind of speaks for itself here.
You ask me to bring that guacamole to the party, I'll say no, no. If you ask me bring the guacamole to the party, I'll say no, no, no. That shit's too expensive.